thought Kurara, his Today series, right? So I thought, where can I get unlimited resources to name my pieces? President Trump tweets every single day. That's gold mine for me. So for him, like his process of documenting today's day, if he doesn't finish the painting, then he can't work on it the next day. Like very present, today's the day. That aspect connected to me. So I was making pieces, still making those, building the wall kind of on the wood panel pieces, and every day, on the day I finish it, it has to be the same day, I go to Trump's Twitter account and I find one phrase or one sentence and then name my piece. When I feel the connection, I name my piece with that exact tweet from his account. It's like we live in an interesting time that I think this is the first time that we, the general public, can just have access to what's the president thinking in his brain every 5 minutes. And also it's the first time we have to look at a constitutional law and think about, can he block you on Twitter? Right? Like he blocks some journals, like is that legal? Like we have to question all those crazy things that we never had to think about before. So I was making lots of those pieces, just experimenting with different colors and different background for the wood panel. And I sometimes, if I don't find a good title, I just wait and not finish the piece today and wait tomorrow, see what else comes up on my Twitter account. So when I was making those pieces, like each wood panel, latex on wood panel, I was looking for the balance of clarity and surprise. Because I always believe that good artwork has to have a perfect balance of those. So for this one, I cut those, every little brick is 1 inch long. They're all 1 inch, 1 inch. And on the edge, it's like half of the brick. And here, when this one is a little bit bigger than that, it kind of triggers all the upper layers to have this like very subtle curve. And those two are the view from the bottom and top. So if you look at from bottom, it's in the gallery, and if you look at from bottom, it's like mostly blue on this side and purple on the top. So I wanted my pieces to be more like systematic and with a little of surprise in each piece. And after I've done rectangular shapes for a while, I started experimenting with triangles. These are relatively new. I have 3 triangles in the gallery. They're kind of still new, but I'm thinking about, besides rectangular shape, what other patterns I can make with the same, almost similar process, but like different outcomes that they can bring. So also in the gallery, I have those 2 pieces. The left one is called Sanctuary. It's a Bible on cassette. And the right one is Play in Your Sand Pile. I used 78 cassette tapes to make that piece. The left one, Sanctuary, I went to the thrift shop to buy lots of VHS tapes and cassette tapes. And I saw this whole set of Bible. I thought I just need, for $1, I just need to have this thing. And I also let it sit home for a couple months, maybe a year. I don't know what to do with it. But at that time I was thinking about like I need to address the content of the cassette tape. So this is, when I made this recently, I was thinking about how the Century movement happened in the 70s and the 80s. Is when church, they start to house refugees and help the people, supposedly illegal immigrants that's in the country. They were technically breaking law, but to save people, to save humans, right? So them using churches looking at this Bible, this book, as the guide to say, this is what we need to do to help people. But also, from what I see, right now what's happening in this country is people, especially the alt-right, using the same book to say, okay, this is my safety bubble, please get out of here, you don't belong here. So this is almost like a 2 perspective in the same book. It can, one, provide shelter and protective for people who need the help. Also, it can provide like a bubble for people to say, okay, this is what I'm thinking, I don't care what you think, I don't care what's right or wrong, this is what I'm thinking, please get out. So the right one, and I also invite people to actually stand inside. So if you haven't done it yet, please go and it feels very different when you're actually physically in the space. I made it just 24 inches wide in diameter, so just wider than the human. So it's not too big that you still feel, you're not you feel comfortable inside, but it's not too small, so you're claustrophobic inside. And people have a great time. See Exhibit A, Michael, to making funny faces. So the piece on the right, this is the piece on the right, I call it Play in Your Sand Pile, is when we proposed the show and I want to do an installation. I came look at a space, I just immediately thought I need to make something to block the wall in the end. And I used just some wooden dowels and looped the tape around. I cut the bottom now, so people can still run their fingers through and won't really get, trapped from the piece. So I call that Play in Your Sand Pile when I work in a retirement community, and I went to visit this sweet lady, and she said to me, "Oh, thank you for visiting me. You come play in my sand pile. I come play in your sand pile." And I didn't really know what that meant. I went home and I Googled it. I texted Michael, what does this mean? Does it mean, is it friendly? Is she saying, when she's sending me codes I don't understand, oh, okay, I'll come visit you. So I think that just means, it's old saying, come visit me and come visit you. So I used the quote that, the one that she taught me, play in your sand pile, to name that piece. And that's it. Here's the start.